You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. During the next hour, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
And welcome to Catholic Chicago, WNDZ 750 AM. Mark Teresi here, sitting in for Father Greg Sakowicz, who is recouping from his hip surgery and taking a morning off. I'm here for Catholic Schools today on WNDZ with Dr. Jim Rigg. Good morning, Dr. Jim.
Good morning, Mark. It's nice to join you, even though we are not yet able to be face-to-face in the studio there.
Yeah, they didn't even, I'm sure people didn't even recognize me with the hat and the gloves. I'm here, and it's freezing out. It's absolutely freezing outside. You know, if you don't mind, since Greg can't be here, I thought I'd start with a couple of his jokes, and then we can jump right into the show. How does that sound?
Oh, we're going to lose all of our listeners.
Oh, no.
All right, so go ahead.
I hope he's not listening. Anyway, so one of the jokes, let me find it here. One day, a space shuttle crashed to the ground in the yard of a preschool. When he finally struggled out of the wreckage, the astronaut shouted, "I'm free! I'm free!" At this point, one of the little children standing there shouted back, "Big deal, I'm 4." Ha, ha, ha. And the last one, which I think this is cute. On the first day of school, you'd appreciate this one. On the first day of school, the kindergarten teacher said, "If anyone has to go to the bathroom, hold up 2 fingers." A little voice from the back of the room asked, "How will that help?" Leave it to Father Greg. Leave it to Father Greg. Well, Dr. Jim, on that happy note, on this cold morning, could you please give us an update about our Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic Schools?
Well, I would be happy to. We have a lot going on in our schools right now. We are still on a high from Catholic Schools Week, which officially ended on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You probably know that Catholic Schools Week is a national celebration of Catholic education. And throughout our schools, throughout the week, there were a variety of COVID-friendly activities and prayer services and other events to celebrate the great things happening in our schools, particularly this year where we have been able to reopen and support in-person instruction since the fall. So it was really, I think, for me personally, a moment to just step back and recognize and celebrate all of the great things that have happened this year with our schools during the pandemic.
And how well our teachers and students have adapted to this COVID situation.
Absolutely, and we've been fortunate to receive a lot of public attention. People have really taken notice of the fact that we've reopened the 159 Archdiocesan-run schools, and then all 199 Catholic schools, including the independent schools. All of them have been open to one degree or another this year, and I think we've shown that we can keep people safe, that with the right health and safety practices, we can protect our students and employees while sustaining a great Catholic education.
Now, what are you hearing from principals in terms of keeping the schools open?
Well, I think those in education, educators, principals, and teachers, I think overall they are very happy that we've been able to be in person. Educators love kids, and mm-hmm. I think they recognize that in person is the way to go, that even high-quality virtual teaching is still not as good as in person. People were anxious at the beginning of the year. We weren't sure how things would go. But I think as the school year started and we realized day after day, week after week, that people were not getting sick in our schools, I think people realized that, this could be done safely and successfully.
And what about the teachers? Have you had any contact with teachers, and what's their thinking? I mean, they love their children. I'm sure
Yes.
they want to be with them.
Yes, again, I think there was some anxiety at first, but as the school year started and continued, I don't think people are as concerned anymore. I think the teachers and principals and everyone really is eager to get the pandemic behind us. It'd be nice to take the masks off and be able to resume business as usual. One of the things we have going on starting next week is the beginning of our system-wide vaccination rollout for Catholic school employees.
Wonderful. Could you explain that?
Sure. So we have been working very closely with the state and local health departments to get vaccines to our employees as soon as possible. Several of them, I'd estimate somewhere around 15 to 20% of them, have already received a vaccine. There were some clinics and hospitals and other groups that had extra vaccine from when they were rolling out vaccines to first responders and medical practitioners. But educators, public and private, are kind of in the second wave of the vaccination effort, which officially starts on Monday. And so we have been working with the Jewish day schools and the Lutheran schools to put together an aggressive vaccination plan where we will be distributing vaccines to all school employees who have not yet received them over about a 3 to 4 week period via 4 sites in Cook County. And in Lake County, we're working directly with the Lake County Health Department. There are 2 sites in Lake County we'll work with. So our hope is that by kind of mid-March, all of our employees have received both doses of the COVID vaccine.
So Monday, February 15th is when this begins. How would teachers, faculty look for specifics on where to go, when to go, et cetera?
Yeah, so we've been sending out communication to them pretty regularly. Just recently, at the end of last week, we sent them out a survey asking them to indicate which of the sites they would prefer. So starting next week, employees will begin receiving emails telling them where to go and when to go. And then again, not everybody will get their first dose next week. It'll take a little time, depending upon the supply of vaccine and the volume of people coming in. But we do think that we'll be able to get everybody vaccinated in the next, like I said, 4 weeks or so.
And I know Dr. Ed Gordon, who's been on the show, said that vaccine is so important. And then depending on the vaccine, like my wife and I are going for our second on Ash Wednesday. But he said also what as important is maintaining the distance and the mask through this process of the vaccinations. So your procedures in schools will remain the same, correct?
That is true. There are still uncertainties about whether people who have been vaccinated can still spread the disease as asymptomatic carriers. And of course, they have not yet completed, the CDC has not yet completed the clinical trials for children. And so we're probably not going to see our students vaccinated until the summertime or early fall. So those health and safety practices are not going away anytime soon.
Right. Well, before we take a little break, one of the questions Greg put in his weekly message to our parishioners was, February's a tough month, the cold, we've been at COVID almost for a year. What has life taught you this past year, Dr. Jim?
Oh, you're asking me personally?
Yeah, what has life taught you this year? It's been a tough year for you, I'm sure. You didn't plan on this.
Of course not. I think God has taught me that there is a lot of strength and resilience within our schools, and I've been so impressed by the flexibility and creativity and ingenuity of our Catholic educators. They have truly risen to the occasion. And again, to be able to say, almost a year after the pandemic set in, that we've been able to keep schools open safely, I think is a major accomplishment. And I don't take credit for it. The credit completely goes to our teachers and principals and staff members.
Yeah, and a shout out to the pastors who really not only add the school dimension to their work, but also bringing people back into the churches, which I know personally from observing at Holy Name, it's an exhausting possibility for us, but I just see people so wanting to reconnect with the church. So why don't we take a little break? WNDZ Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg, who is our superintendent of Chicago Catholic Schools. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we will introduce some special guests we have this morning. Please stay tuned.
Hey, it's Timothy Johnston here from Liturgy Training Publications. Over the past few months, I'm sure you've found yourself at home more, whether it's working from home or watching live stream masses on Sunday mornings. As we begin adjusting to this at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the things I missed the most was gathering with friends at the parish. That's why we at LTP have created this new virtual gathering series called Living the Sunday Word. We meet virtually on Thursday evenings each week and reflect on the upcoming Sunday readings. And with that, we share stories to help us more fully reflect on the Word of God. I'm inviting each of you to join us, a group of friends meeting virtually from all parts of the country. So visit ltp.org for more information and to register. You won't want to miss this.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Cupich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember, to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We're back. Catholic Chicago, Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM. Mark Teresi here with Dr. Jim Rigg, Superintendent of our Catholic Schools. And in this segment, on Juneteenth, 2020, Marian Catholic High School senior Tamera Trimuel published her first book titled Dear Black Girl, You Are It! Capital IT. The book is a motivational book about self-love for teen girls. When not writing a book, Tamera stays involved at Marian Catholic with not too many activities, like being the vice president of Outreach for Black Student Union, co-anchor of the Marian Catholic Network, a member of the Gospel Choir, senior editor of the yearbook, etc., etc. Tamera Trimuel, welcome to Catholic Chicago, to Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ. And Chris Engel from Marian Catholic is her high school English teacher. So welcome to Catholic Schools Today. Dr. Rigg, I will honor you with the first questions.
Oh, well, thank you, Mark. Great intro. This is, of course, Black History Month across our country, so I think it's appropriate that we talk to Tamera here. Tamera, congratulations on publishing your first book. Tell us a little bit about this book and why you wrote it.
So actually, my journey to inspiring young Black girls started when I was 9. I had my own business called Tamera Treasures, and the same message that I have today was the same message I had back then, was just to inspire young girls to love themselves. So when I was 9 in that business, I sold custom treasure boxes, custom bracelets, and T-shirts just to inspire those girls to love themselves. And as I grew up, the same message matured with me. And so in 2018, I went to Disney Dreamers Academy with Steve Harvey and Essence Magazine. And that 4-day experience really just changed my life and really just showed me to start chasing my dreams now and walking my purpose now. So when I got home, I sat down with my parents and I'm like, okay, I can't sit on all the information that I just got and the inspiration that I just got. And boom, the book popped in my head. And I'm like, okay, why can't I just continue something I've already started? And so I started writing the book. And it's about, like you said, it's self-love. And so I break the word self down in the book to 4 parts. So see you, express you, love you, and free you. Seeing you is about looking in the mirror and seeing who you are, appreciating who you are, seeing your flaws, seeing your worth. Express you is about using your gifts and talents to change the lives of others and to walk in your purpose. Love you, well, that's self-explanatory, loving yourself. And free you is about freeing yourself from anything that's not contributing to who you are in a positive way, and freeing yourself from anything that's toxic.
Tamera, where did your inspiration? Did you say your business you started when you were 9 years old?
Yes.
Wow, 9-year-old people are still trying to figure out how to tie their shoes. Just about.
Yeah.
Where did your inspiration come from?
Honestly, fortunately, I've been blessed for my parents to always pour into me and give me the positive feedback, love, and time that, little kids need. And fortunately, I was always confident. I was always inspiring other girls. So my parents really inspired me. And then seeing girls who look like me struggle with insecurities and struggle with knowing who they are and walking in their worth really inspired me, because I knew it was a need. And something that girls who look like me were missing. Now,
you're also... go ahead, Jim.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, I was going to just ask Chris Engel a question. So, Chris, we hope you're with us. You're an English teacher there at Marian Catholic High School. Tell us a little bit about Tamera and her writing ability and what you've observed as a teacher.
I don't think Chris is Chris on yet? No, she hasn't. We haven't been able to connect with her yet.
Okay, well then, yeah, we can go back to Tamera then.
Tamera, so, what's your second?
Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to ask, what's your second book? Because where it says here, this is your first book. First meaning it's not your last book.
No. So I really want to write a novel. I'm an avid reader. I love reading mystery, suspense, drama, romance, all of that in just one book. So I really want to challenge myself and write a book kind of centered around what I like reading, but a little different. I want my novel to then turn into like a series, maybe 3 books. But, yeah, that's my next book. So I'm taking a step away from the inspiration just for a little bit so I could challenge myself and actually write a novel.
No, it's interesting.
That's great. Tamera, now what grade are you in there at Marian Catholic?
I'm a senior.
Wow.
You're a senior. So, and this book that you wrote, Dear Black Girl, You Are It, is it a children's book? Is it meant for younger kids?
It's actually for ages 13 through 19.
Okay, great.
But
so,
little girls can read
if
as well.
you were to talk to, say, a freshman at Marian Catholic, an African-American girl who was coming in, talk to her about some of the messages that you have in your book, what would you say?
I would really tell her to express. I would really explain the chapter, Express You, because that's something that I've been doing and it's paying off, using your gifts and talents to change the world and change the lives of others. I think when you do that and you allow God to use you and you use the gifts and talents that He gave you, it opens up doors for you that you could have never imagined. Like now, I feel like I just released my book as opposed to June because now it's getting so much traction, but that's because I'm using my gifts and I'm using my purpose to change the lives of others and to change the world. So I would really tell her, it may be hard, and it was hard, but express yourself, use your gifts and talents to change the world, be a positive influence for the people around you, and don't dim your light.
It's interesting because I had talked to my daughter a little bit ago, who's older than you are, Tamera, And I asked her, well, what are the blessings? What are the blessings in your life? Tamera, what are the blessings? You just sound like you've got a direct channel in prayer to what the blessings are in your life. Can you just share some of them with us?
Yes. I honestly would say my biggest blessings are my parents. Literally, I would not even be here without them. They've sacrificed so much just for me to really be who I am and walk in my purpose. It hasn't been easy, but just seeing them sacrifice and do everything unapologetically and do it without complaining just so their children could, really fulfill their purpose. I would say my second blessing is the support system that I have, not only from my parents and family, but from my friends. They really fuel me, just seeing how supportive they are and how, genuine they are and wanting me to succeed, and how they really just love the information that I'm giving off. And I didn't know that one of my friends, she told me that to me, like, I was really going through it, and your book really just made me cry, and it changed my life, and it really inspired me. So that type of stuff is what I'm grateful for, because that's all I want to do. Because, when you put out a project or a book, you don't know if somebody, really is reading it, or if they're just buying it because you're their friend. But to actually know that they're really reading it and taking it in is a huge blessing. And I'm thankful just to wake up every day, honestly, that I'm healthy.
Well, and Tamera, where could somebody get this book? Is it available for purchase on the internet?
Yes, it is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble for $14.99. I prefer Amazon. It's quicker. It's easier for me to see, the numbers. But, yeah, Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And repeat the title for everybody, Tamera.
Dear Black Girl, You Are It.
And Tamera, spell your last name so people, if they're looking it up by author, they know how.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Trimuel.
Now, you'll be one of those folks that will probably know you just by your first name, like Cher,
yeah, probably.
Tamera. I think Tamera. Now, as you look, here's a quote that Father Greg had. I'll go back to Father Greg, who, sorry he couldn't be here today, but one of the things he listed in his Sunday article in our bulletin was what I've learned. And he listed all these things people learned. He said, I've learned that the less time I have to work with, the more things I get done. When the less time I have to work with, the more things I get done. Maybe they'll take a little break. And Tamera, when we get back, I'd love to hear and maybe share with folks your age and us, people our age, how do you manage your time? You got all these responsibilities, all these things going on, and you're doing them all extremely well. So why don't we take a little break? WNDZ Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg, Mark Teresi here. We'll be back with Tamera Trimuel, and we will all learn how to manage our time. We will be back in just a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
A gently used laptop or desktop computer that is gathering dust in your home? Consider donating to our Catholic Charities Veterans Computer Project. We will clean out your device, give it new software, and repurpose it for a veteran who is looking for employment. Your gift will make an incredible difference in a veteran's ability to find a job. Catholic Charities provides veteran services throughout Lake and suburban Cook counties, giving participants an array of professional and personal support. Our veterans have served our country, and it is our privilege to serve them. To learn more about Catholic Charities Veterans Services and the Veterans Computer Project, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 6100 or visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Throughout our nation and our world, people of all faiths have recently been joining fervently in all kinds of prayer. They have found that coming together in prayer is a source of comfort and strength. In this spirit of unity, the Archdiocese of Chicago has introduced a call to prayer, a telephone line dedicated to prayer. If you would like to join with another person in prayer, call 312-741-3388. This line is staffed from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily with parishioners from across the Archdiocese of Chicago. These volunteers are here to listen to you, offer support, and pray with you. A call to prayer includes a 24-hour voicemail and email options as well. Experience this wonderful opportunity to join with people just like you who trust in the power of prayer. That phone number again is 312-741-3388. Let's pray together today.
We're back. WNDZ Catholic Schools today on WNDZ 750 AM. Dr. Jim Rigg, Superintendent of our Catholic Schools here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Mark Teresi here sitting in for Father Greg Sakowicz. Tamera, when we took the break, I left with that quote that the less time I have to work with, the more things I get done. How do you do it? How do you do it?
Honestly?
Yes. Yes, honestly.
I don't know. I just keep going. Really, it is a challenge, though, because I do have a lot on my plate. And then I have a part-time job as well, so I do work. So...
And you have a business, too.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. I do rest, though. I think I encourage anybody my age and older to schedule your rest, schedule your nap time, schedule your self-care time. I think that's an important part of balancing your time as well, so you can have fuel to keep going. But I always say be intentional about your day. Wake up knowing what you need to get done, and do it. You know, sometimes your days don't go as planned, and that's fine. But I would say wake up with the mindset, okay, I need to get this done, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. And I've noticed when I do that, my day just goes a lot smoother. I have a plan of what I need to do. I execute it, and then at the end of the day, I'm satisfied. But I would just say really, like, be intentional, like I said, rest. And really, I have a planner, so I write out everything I have to do. So I know, like, okay, today is this, so I'm not thrown off. But yeah, I just say be intentional and get your rest and write stuff down, because I notice when I don't write anything down and I miss something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have wrote that down.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Tamera, we've talked a bit about the past and what inspired you to write this book, and the present and your study and work habits. Now I want to ask a question about the future. So you are a senior. I know this is a big year for you as you think to the future. Tell us a little bit about your plans for next year and kind of where you see yourself going, as an adult.
Yes, so I'm not 100% sure yet of where I want to go to school. I do have my top 5 right now, but I haven't really made a decision. However, I do see myself majoring in journalism with an emphasis in pre-law, to whatever school I go to, and just using my gifts and talents and learning more and gaining more knowledge so I can continue to change the world. Hopefully, I should by then have another book under my wing, so that's what I'm going to be indulging in as well.
Now, I had a question. As you look to your future, now you have a wonderful presence on the radio. I mean, people can get your personality, get your energy. I mean, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Now I'm thinking, I could be your manager maybe, but what about podcasts? What about social media? The messages in this book probably need to be promulgated. Don't forget, folks your age aren't necessarily great readers. Some of them are. But do you have multiple ways of looking at social media to get these messages out to young people? Can you share those a little bit?
Yeah, I actually started my own little IGTV show on Instagram called Tamera Talks.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, so I started that. I'm just now starting my YouTube channel, so I just posted my first video that goes along with my book. But yeah, I'm always on Instagram making cute little videos, inspiring people, saying, hey, So definitely I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. So yeah.
I've heard some people say that you're probably your generation's Oprah.
Yes.
What does that mean? Explain that to me and to Dr. Rigg.
So
will you have Dr. Rigg on your show if you become Oprah?
Of course.
I'll be there.
Okay.
So growing up, I've always seen myself on the talk show. Like, I don't know, I just always, when I close my eyes and I think about what I want to do, I've always seen myself sitting in a chair on my own network, on my own show, talking and just being Tamera. And so as I got older and I really got to know myself and, just really matured, I've always looked up to Oprah, and everything that she is, I aspire to be. So she has her own network. She's had her own extremely successful talk show. She's a philanthropist. She gives back to Black girls in Africa through her school. She is an actress. Like, she's just everything. And I feel like I am that as well in my generation. I have the personality. I love to inspire people, but also bring joy to them, make them laugh, but also bring them meaningful information. I want to have my own network. I want to have my own talk show. I want to give back to different health causes and schools and help kids who look like me go to college. So everything that she is what I aspire to be.
Wonderful. Now, remember it here. Remember this day. Remember this time that I think I have the title for your show.
Really? What is it?
You said it. Being Tamera.
Okay, I like that.
Hang on to that one. And that gets
Okay.
Dr. Jim Rigg on your first show. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I would love to go on Being Tamera. Tamera, let me ask you a really challenging question. I think you can handle it. But of course, this is Black History Month, and the last year in our country has been characterized by a lot of social and racial tension. If you think about the Black Lives Matter protests and other things that have taken place over the last several months, you're somebody who is outspoken about African American issues and want to be a mentor and an example to African American women. What would you say to people who are not African American? To overcome this racial tension, we need to dialogue with one another, and we need to confront some issues that have been in our society for generations. So do you have a message for people who are not African American?
Absolutely. I think, and I've said it over the past year when everything was crazy. I would just say to educate yourself on what is actually going on. I think a lot of times it's easy for them to ask us what happened, or and it's as genuine as they may be. Sometimes it is frustrating because we're like, okay, how don't you know what's going on? So I would definitely tell them to educate themselves on what's happening around them, and really, if they do have African American friends, check on them, because I know the past year with COVID-19 affecting us, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, the protests, the rioting, the looting, it was a lot, especially for Black teens my age to be on social media. It was draining. I had to turn off my phone for a couple days just because seeing people who look like you constantly get murdered and treated wrong just because of the color of their skin. So it's a lot to watch. And so when you do have a friend who's not African American from the outside looking in, and they text you like, hey, I don't understand, but I'm here and I'm trying to learn, it makes the world of a difference. You're like, okay, all right. I had a friend who did that to me, and it really just made my whole day. It made me feel better because it really meant a lot. So I would just say educate yourself and reach out to your friends who are experiencing the trauma of this. Yeah. And
maybe before we close this wonderful visit with you, Tamera, a lot of what you've talked about and you've hinted at it is rooted in your faith.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you totally trust these gifts God gave you, and you're taking off with them. Can you, before we wrap this segment up, could you just share a little bit about your faith? How does that fit into to all of what you're doing?
Yes, so I grew up in the church. Both my parents attended Baptist churches when they were younger, so me and my brother were also members of a Baptist church. And literally, that was just me, my life when I was younger. I was always at church, Sunday school, youth at work, choir, like anything that the youth could do at church, I was in. My parents were ministers. My mom was over the women's ministry. And really, it was just natural for me to trust God. I think when I was younger, I knew God existed. I knew what he did. I knew the stories in the Bible. But once I started getting older, I developed my own relationship with him. And it's really got me where I am now, even through my darkest times. And he continues to show me my purpose through other people, and that's why I keep going. So God is really just an avid part of who I am and what I do. I think that he fuels me so I can fuel other people. And I really think that my journey with God has been amazing. It's grown. It's just he shows himself to me in different ways. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes it's a little frustrating because I'm like, God, do you hear me? Like, hey, I'm here. Like, are you listening to me? But literally, like, he'll send himself. He'll show me, like, okay, Tamera, calm down. I'm listening to you. Okay, just give me time. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Well, I want to thank you, Tamera, for your beautifully inspiring time spent with us, with Dr. Jim Rigg and myself. You once again, your book is Dear Black Girl, You Are It, by Tamera Trimuel, and
Yes.
You can get it on Amazon.
Yes.
And where else? But I know.
Barnes and Noble.
And look for her TV show, Being Tamera. Her first guest will be Dr. Jim Rigg. I can't wait. Well, God bless you on your journey, and thank you for your time. And we're going to take a little break. WNDZ.
Thank
Catholic,
you.
Oh, you're welcome. God bless. Catholic Schools Today, WNDZ, with Dr. Jim Rigg. We'll be back in a few minutes with some more wonderful guests. Please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities After Supper Visions program offers guests of our Tuesday night supper the opportunity to learn the art of photography. These talented guests, who are often experiencing homelessness, are offered disposable digital cameras, and they work with volunteer professional photographers to learn the basics of taking photos. Then the artists go out and capture images on film of anything they find to be beautiful or interesting in the world. Their photos are amazing. Visit AfterSupperVisions.com to learn more about the artists and their artwork. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn too. At After Supper Visions, we are developing film, talent, and hope. It has been inspiring to see how individuals, families, and communities have found ways to help one another throughout 2020. At Catholic Charities, we usually have 35 to 40 events a year where we gather and enjoy time together in support of important programs and services, while raising critical funds that allow us to respond to the growing number of people who are in need of the most basic necessities in life. Many of our events are now virtual. If you would like to be a sponsor for one of these events, please call 312-948-6864. That's 312-948-6864. Also, visit us at CatholicCharities.net/events and follow us on social media too. We so look forward to when we can resume our events in person and reconnect with our friends and partners throughout Chicagoland. For now, please consider donating to Catholic Charities so our vital work can continue. Thousands of people in Chicago count on Catholic Charities every day. Please help us help them today. Learn more at CatholicCharities.net.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Archdiocese of Chicago presents programming about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
We're back. Catholic Schools today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg, Mark Teresi here, sitting in for Father Greg Sackwitz. Well, what did you think about Tamera, Dr. Jim?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, what did you think about Tamera?
Oh, boy, she's going to take on the world.
Isn't she? And
I do believe she will be the next Oprah or the next, Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris. I mean, she's going to take the world by storm.
And what a wonderful tribute to Marian Catholic High School that one of their students represents them so well.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
And you had mentioned before that as Black History Month, this being Black History Month, schools across the Archdiocese of Chicago will participate virtually in the 43rd Annual African American Heritage Prayer Service this year. Due to the pandemic, Catholic schools will participate online for 4 weekly virtual prayer services to honor African American heritage, culture, community, and contributions, particularly to the Catholic Church. And during this time, 6 people will be honored with awards. The Clergy Award will be to Reverend Tom Walsh, pastor of St. Martin de Porres Church. The Lay Leader Award to Janice Summaries, who's the business manager at St. Anne's in Lansing. The Elementary Educator Award to Karen Brodzik, the principal of Christ Our Savior, and our 3 guests today are also awardees. We're welcoming Tracy Aldaz, High School Educator Award winner and counselor from De La Salle Institute. Lee Vonn Overton, the High School Student Award winner from De La Salle Institute. And Jadyn Thomas, Elementary Student Award winner from Infant Jesus of Prague, who is taking this call in the principal's office. Is that true, Jadyn?
Yes.
And you're there for good reason.
Yes.
Wonderful. Dr. Rigg, I will hand it to you.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations to each of you. As Mark said, these awards are part of our annual celebration of African American heritage. This is something we have been doing as an archdiocese for the last 43 years. And normally we would be in person together, but of course, with the pandemic, we're unable to do that. Nevertheless, we wanted to recognize each of you for your outstanding work in fostering the contributions of the African American people to our Catholic Church, to our city, and to our region. So congratulations to each of you. Why don't we start with you, Tracy Aldaz. You are the counselor from De La Salle Institute. Tell us a little bit about your work there at De La Salle.
Good morning, and thank you. As a school counselor here at De La Salle, I spend the majority of my day advocating for my students, making sure that they have everything they need to be a success at De La Salle and in their future. And our school is very, very diversified. And, part of that diversification really means that I need to step up and advocate more and more for my students, which is a great honor for me to do. Being a woman of color also, it gives me great pleasure to step up to do just that.
Tracy, where did you study? Where did you study? I'm sorry.
Levon Overton, also a student from De La Salle. Our theme this year for the African American Heritage Prayer Service is "We are called, we are united, we are proud, we can make a difference." Emoja for Black Lives, Justice, and Peace. Tell us a little bit about what that theme means to you.
Well, that means to me a call to action. I feel like that call to unity and the call to make change not only in your community but in the world. And it's a strong calling for not only me, myself, but to my peers and my elders and everybody who actually cares about where they live and like the future of like their like home. I feel like you have to honor like your presence here. In order to do that, you have to make some kind of impact, whether it be small, whether it be large. their impact always matters.
Great. And how about you, Jadyn? What does that theme mean to you?
Well, that thing means to me that a leader is someone who you can look up to, someone that doesn't only focus on their voice, but also the voice of others in their team. Basically, someone who takes consideration into the voice of the people instead of themselves.
Jadyn, what grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
Hey, and what does high school look like for you?
High school. Well, first of all, I'm going to Marian Catholic High School in Chicago Heights.
Oh.
I'm going there because as a musician, I want to improve on my skill. And I know Marian will help me do that because they are nationally known as one of the best bands in high school. I'm also going there because of their great academic program. I know that they will prepare me for college and beyond. Really great.
And Vonn, what about you? What year are you in?
I am a junior.
And what's your future look like?
My future is looking pretty bright. Right now, I'm focusing on the researching colleges. My top three are DePaul University, Northwestern, and Columbia College Chicago. And mainly trying to find the place that really suits me and allows me to be independent. I want to go to a school that not only provides me a good education and sets me up to be independent on my own, but also allows me to create my own brand for myself, to assert myself in society as my own person, with the values of the background that I have, but also to prepare me for the future in the career field.
Now, if you're looking at Columbia, does that mean communications, media, film?
Particularly film and television.
Oh, okay.
It's great. Got a lot of future celebrities on our show this morning.
Yeah, we sure did. We sure did. And Tracy,
Ms. Aldaz, go ahead, Bob.
I just had one question for Tracy. I just want to know a little bit of your academic background, but how did you get to De La Salle?
So I got to De La Salle actually as I was working as a teacher at St. John De La Salle, the irony there. One of my professors, as I had just finished my master's program for counseling, school counseling at Concordia University, and one of my professors who actually worked at De La Salle, she was leaving, and she recommended me for the position at De La Salle. And I've been here ever since. So I've been here for 11 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about De La Salle.
Well, De La Salle, we are located pretty much smack dab in the middle of the city of Chicago, and we have a wide diversity range of approximately 21% white, 40% African American, and about 35% Hispanic and Latinx. And we do have a small Asian population of about 4%. About 65% of our families, we'd say, are roughly low income. Mm-hmm. And with all of that in mind, you know, it is very important for our community to really, really take on the concept of being a strong, inclusive community. And that's one of the things that we've been doing, and we have really devoted ourselves to, especially in the last several years. Beautiful.
We're going to take a little break from our guest, WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg, Mark Teresi here sitting in for Father Greg Sakis. We'll be back in a few minutes to continue our conversation with our awardees, Tracy Aldaz, Vonn Overton, and Jadyn Thomas. We'll be back. Please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities staff members work every day to end poverty and homelessness. We do this on a one-to-one basis with anyone who asks for help. We also work with organizations who study these issues across our city, state, and nation. The Wilson Sheehan Lab for Economic Opportunities, or LEO, at the University of Notre Dame is one of these research centers. Through our partnership with LEO, Catholic Charities has gained valuable insights into scientific evaluation methods that determine the most effective interventions to help people avoid poverty and homelessness. Along with our experience and compassion, trusted research is helping Catholic Charities offer hope and so much more to anyone in need. For more information, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Supich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We're back, Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM. Dr. Jim Rigg, our Superintendent of Catholic Schools here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Joining him, Mark Teresi, sitting in for Father Greg Sakowicz today. And we're with our awardees, Tracy, Vonn, Jadyn, representing the Archdiocese of Chicago. All the good things about the Archdiocese in terms of education, high school student, exemplar and elementary student. Dr. Jim, could you give us a little more information about the virtual prayer service, and then maybe you could ask our next question to our guests?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, as I mentioned before, this is the continuation of an event that has been in place now for 43 years. But of course, we've had to make adjustments due to the pandemic. So we have created a set of videos that are going to be going up on the Catholic Chicago YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and search for Catholic Chicago. They will be posted every Friday at 10 a.m. Throughout the month of February. So each one will have kind of a little bit of a different focus. And in one of them, we will be recognizing and honoring all of those who are receiving awards this year, including Tracy, Vonn, and Jadyn. So I encourage everybody to check that out. And then hopefully next year we will be back together face to face. So let me ask a question of Tracy Aldaz. You are the counselor, one of the counselors at De La Salle Institute, and I know you serve a very diverse student body. This has been an unusual year in Catholic education for many reasons. Of course, we have the pandemic happening, but we also have kind of all of the nationwide social and racial tension, stemming out of the George Floyd shooting, the Black Lives Matter protests, and so forth. So how do you as a counselor foster racial understanding and dialogue in today's world?
Well, in order to really foster, racial understanding and helping to create dialogue, we have to first start with our faculty and our staff, our school community. One of the things that we have done at our school, we created an inclusive community committee this past summer with all of the social injustice and issues that have been happening worldwide. We felt it necessary to actually bring our community together. And we are actually doing things ongoingly. It's not a one-stop shop kind of deal. We've done several professional developments that deal with microaggressions, racism, implicit bias, cultural responsive teaching practices. We've had prayer services with our students to help them have a voice. And we actually have created a theme called Meteors United. Meteors, that's who we are at DLSL. We are meteors. And we want to make sure that because we have such a diverse population, that we help everybody to understand that part of the issues is that we don't understand each other and that we all have to come together and be united. And so with that, our theme is Meteors United. And we also have an iconic piece that goes with that, which is a heart that is created out of puzzle pieces. During one of our professional developments, and one of our recent services through our Black History Month activity here at DLSL, we created a puzzle activity. We've taken big puzzle pieces, and we've asked everyone in our school community to actively commit to what they will do to maintain the necessary level of equity and justice in our school community. So you write on the puzzle piece, I commit to stand up for you. Mm-hmm. I commit to being there for you, and then sign your name. And we have all of our puzzle pieces put together and in our iconic piece of the heart at our front door, basically. It is posted with all of our puzzle pieces there, and anybody who wants to add to those puzzle pieces can.
Beautiful.
So we're continuing this throughout the year. It's not just through this month or, hopefully we'll even continue it into the next years.
Beautiful. We only have a few minutes, and I wanted to ask Vonn and Jadyn. A priest friend of mine working with young people would always ask them, what are your dreams? What are your dreams? Vonn, what's your dream for your life?
My dream is to create change through my passion. For as long as I can remember, I have a passion for film and visual production, and with the recent events of the civil unrest over racial injustice, I want to create change through media and film, no matter how small, no matter how big, maybe it be behind the camera or in front of the camera. I really want to create that change in my culture and in society through my passion.
Beautiful. And this award underscores you're on your road. You're on the way to that. Jadyn, what about you?
My dream is to connect people together. Now, I want to, when I grow up, either become a chef or a civil engineer. Now, being a chef, I would say that I can connect people with meals because everybody would be together. And no matter what happened, like if there's like an argument or some type of fight, it's like everybody comes together at the end of a meal because a meal brings people together. It doesn't separate them. And spending time with family and friends, that's always key.
And civil engineer?
Yes. I would like to be a civil engineer because, well, to me, I'm a very creative person. I like design, structure, how things are made, why they're made. And I think it'll be a very fun and interesting career to go into.
Beautiful. And your student award, again, says that you are on the road. So we'd like to thank Tracy Aldaz, Lee Vonn Overton, and Jadyn Thomas, our award winners this year. I'd like to thank Dr. Jim Rigg for allowing me to share time with him here and talking about our Catholic schools today. This is Mark Teresi. I'm going to end with one little quote from Father Greg, what I've learned. So this is me, Mark. That when your newly born grandchild holds your little finger in his little fist, you're hooked for life. Spent time this past weekend with James Mark, who's 3 months old today, and it does change your life. Thank you all for listening. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. Hi to Father Greg. Hope you're healing well, and God bless.